Hey, what's going on, guys? Jebba here, and today we're back with another video. Before I get started, I want to say happy Thanksgiving. I hope you're having big meals and spending time with your family and just having a blast. And with all that being said, I hope you guys are ready for some crazy videos. This video is my stepmom melon. Wait, what? Wow, there's a typo there. Should say my stepmom's melons, but it says my stepmom melons ripped my family apart. Now, this story sounds extremely ridiculous. I don't know if it means like her mother or her stepmother got breast implants that cost a little arm and a leg, which caused the family to go into financial ruins. That's something I'm guessing. Because, like, how big of a problem is your life where your stepmother's melons just rip your family apart? All right, let's get into it. I'm really excited. Oh yeah, and this is by My Story Animated. In 3, 2, 1, let's react.
My name is Anna, and my stepmom threw me out of the house, so that's why I'm now a homeless person that eats food scraps out of dumpsters. But during that time, eating scraps was the least of my worries. My parents got divorced after my mom discovered that my dad cheated on her with a waitress. My mom gave up custody of me. It was her way of teaching my dad about responsibility. But 3 weeks later, my dad married that waitress. It was clear that he only did it because of her
3
enormous
weeks?
breasts.
He
My
must have been cheating
stepmom
for a
was
long
so
time,
mean to
dude.
me. She made me
just
do
to get
all the
married to someone in
chores by
2 weeks.
myself. Meanwhile, she just sat and watched TV. I once broke a dish, and she screamed hysterically in my face and called me a savage. She served my food in a dog bowl that she put on.
All right, I'm gonna stop it right there. At that point, if that was me, I would have just told her to shut up. She's not my mom. Like, you may have married my father, but you do not have any right to talk to me like that. You are a stranger to me that ripped my family apart. Well, then again, that has something to do with the dad, since he couldn't keep it in his pants. But, you know, at that point, I would just lose respect for my dad and whoever this lady is. Because if she knew that he had a wife, then screw you as well. You're a scumbag. Mother and father, her stepmother and father are scumbags. Let's get into it.
On the floor for me to eat from. Sometimes her dog would beat me there and eat my food first, and I would have to go to bed.
Legit stepmother
I had to put
scumbag.
an end to her evilness. So I told my dad everything, but he ignored it all and told me that he trusted her way of raising me and that he thought that she was raising me well.
Eating
Then
off
he
the
said
floor
that
and sometimes going to bed
we have to learn
starving?
the hard way. He was unbelievable.
Learn what the hard way?
I walked out and headed to the yard where I kept a few
Legit
little rats.
scumbag of a
I fed them
dad.
some bits of bread that the dog had left for me in my bowl. Brownie, my favorite rat, looked sick, so I took him back into the house with me without anyone noticing and let him sleep next to me. A few hours later, I woke up to the screams of my stepmom. She was running around like a crazy person, and poor Brownie was holding onto her hair. He jumped on me when he saw me, and my stepmom pointed at me and said, "You witch! I know that you set that rat on me on purpose." And then she looked to my dad and said, "It's either me or her. You choose." Well, the choice was easy for him, and that was how my stepmom threw me out of the house. I hugged Brownie and went to my mom's house as I had no other place to go. When I arrived at her house, I knocked, and her new boyfriend opened the door, but he wouldn't let me in. He told me that my mom didn't want me in her life anymore. I heard my mom in the background asking, "Who is it?" "Just the pizza boy. He got the wrong address," he replied and slammed the door shut in my face. I walked on the streets.
At that point, I would just bang on the door and just scream, "Mom, it's me. You know, your daughter
so I ran after
that you
him
gave up."
until we reached an abandoned building that had several homeless people standing inside it around a fire. One of them walked over to me and asked in a sharp tone, "Where do you think you're going?" "I want to spend the night in a warm place, that's all," I replied. She said, "Things don't work like that in here, little girl. You have to give us something in return." I looked in my backpack and found my makeup tools and Brownie's food. I gave her both. She took Brownie's food and said, "Are you serious? What on earth am I supposed to do with that?" While I was standing next to the fire, someone came up to me and started flirting with me. Suddenly, a huge person hugged me from behind, and I heard the voice of a woman saying, "She is mine now, my dear. Go find yourself another one." Even though it felt kinda nice to be hugged, she smelled horrible, like she hadn't showered in months. I laid
Well, she
next to
is
her that night
homeless,
because
so
I had no other choice. She wouldn't let me out of her sight. I waited until she had fallen asleep, then I snuck out. But on the way out, Brownie hit a box that was on the floor and it made a loud noise. Suddenly, the big woman woke up. I started running and screaming, "Run, Brownie, run!" The woman started chasing us, and I thought we wouldn't make it. After running for what felt
what
like
is this
forever,
story, man?
we were exhausted. I stood next to a dumpster to catch my breath. There was a kitten that was nibbling on a half-eaten McDonald's meal that had been thrown away. It was like a dream come true for me. I leaned forward to share the meal with the cat. I tried to act like a cat so that it would think that I was a cat too. I got down
Dude,
on
how
all
old are
fours,
you?
but the cat wasn't as stupid as I was. My plan didn't work. It knew exactly what I was trying to do. The cat jumped on my
Are you
face,
10 or
and all I
something?
could see were its little paws scratching my face. Finally, a man passed by and got her off of me. And the whole time, Brownie just hid behind the dumpster, leaving me to be attacked all alone. The man offered to buy me
He's a
McDonald's
mouse. What is he
meal.
supposed to
I couldn't
do?
refuse an offer like that. I mean, I was starving. He ordered me a family-sized meal that was meant for 4 people. He asked me what a little girl like me was doing in a dark, scary alley all alone at night. My stepmother threw me out of
So
the
I'm
house,
guessing she's a
I told
child?
him between bites. Suddenly, a piece of meat flew out of my mouth and landed on his face. I expected him to freak out, but instead, he just cleaned it off with an expensive napkin and laughed out loud. I suddenly started to feel sleepy, and I could no longer see anything other than that
I mean, it
man
makes
laughing.
sense. She's been
I could
running the
barely
entire
keep my eyes
time.
open, and
She hasn't been getting any
suddenly,
sleep.
I was falling asleep
Yeah,
eating food.
your body's
When
taking a
I
toll on
opened
you.
my eyes, all I saw was white. For a moment, I thought I'd gone blind, but after a few moments, my vision returned to normal and became clear once again. I realized I was lying on an operating table inside what looked like a hospital room. In the beginning, I thought I was there because I was sick, but then I heard the man that took me to McDonald's speaking to a woman that was lying on the operating table next to me. They mustn't have noticed that I had woken up. He said to her, "Don't worry, dear. Everything will be fine. I have done all the necessary tests for that homeless girl. We will transfer her kidney to your body in 1 hour." Oh my
Dude, I thought he
gosh,
just took
I
her to
had
the
been
hospital because she
kidnapped, and now
fainted.
they were planning to steal
What
my
the
kidney. There was no way I was gonna let that happen, I thought to myself. Just because he'd bought me a McDonald's meal didn't mean that I now owed him my kidney in return. I closed my eyes
So
again so that
stupid.
they
That
didn't
sentence is
notice
so
that I'd
stupid.
woken up.
Just
I
because you
waited
bought
for
me a
the right
McDonald's meal
moment so I
doesn't
could
mean
run
I owe
away
you my
from that
kidney.
place.
That's
The
just
man
so
put on a pair of
God.
gloves, and I could tell
This
he was
story,
getting ready
man.
for the operation he was about to perform. So I quickly jumped up and ran towards the door. However, he was faster than me, and he grabbed me. I started fighting and struggling with him. I kicked the other operating table so hard that the other patient fell off of it. He screamed in my face, "You stupid girl, what have you done?" and ran over to her to help her back onto the table. She could barely move.
Press X
At
to
that
doubt.
moment, I managed to escape from the room.
Dude, you're
Little
just
Brownie
so
was
like,
scratching
if
at
you
the
haven't
door with
eaten
his
in
paws.
days
It was
and
clear
you're able
he
to do
wanted to get
that,
out of that
taking a
torture
fully grown
zone as
woman
much as
and a
I did.
heavy
When I
operating
left the room
table
that
on its
seemed like a
side,
hospital to me
I
at the
don't believe you
beginning,
are,
I
and
was
that you
shocked
are
to
a little
discover
girl.
that I was actually
I
in
don't
a
believe
big
you are.
mansion. Obviously,
This story
that
isn't
guy
true.
wasn't even a doctor. Was I supposed to be their human mouse lab? Or was he running a crazy Frankenstein experience on my body? I thought I had escaped from him, but I found myself in a big maze that had no way out. I hid under the stairs and decided that I needed to fight for my life, or I wasn't going to make it. I waited until the man got closer to where I was, and I quickly pulled my leg out in the dark, and he tripped over it and fell on the floor. I screamed, "Brownie, bite his ear!" I could swear that Brownie was the bravest rat I ever met. He caused the man's ear to bleed, and I heard him crying like a little child as he started running away from us. It took me
Running
a few
away?
minutes
Dog!
after that to find
That's
my
a
way
little
out
girl and a
before
hamster.
I escaped that hell mansion.
A legit grown... He's a rich man. He's smart.
I couldn't bear it
He
any
can do
longer,
surgery, I think.
So I just passed out in the
A
middle
normal
of the
person
street.
would just
The
rip
next
that
moment,
mouse
I
off
was opening
and
my
chase the
eyes
girl.
and realized
This
that
story
I was
is
being
completely
carried by
fake.
a very handsome guy. He put me in his truck and took me to his home. I told him everything that had happened to me.
Got sketchy as well. Okay.
He had been out chasing a...
I don't know why you're trusting these people. The first guy you talked to and that showed kindness to you drugged you. How do you drug a McDonald's meal? The people make it in the back and bring it to you. Okay? She would have saw everything. I'm not saying it's cool with one of the guys in the back like, hey, I brought another girl for surgery. You might want to put some stuff in there to help her fall asleep. And no one at McDonald's thought it was strange that this guy was carrying a dirty little girl to his car that's unconscious. No one. I mean, like, you could make the fact that, oh, they probably think it was her daughter. But she probably reeked. Her clothes are probably just all dirty. Like, she's more than likely not clean. Hair messy. It makes no sense. And the first guy you see, or that picks you up when you regain consciousness, is a young man, blonde, blue eyes, handsome. Yeah, I'm just thinking, if he was ugly, would she still react the same way? Let's be honest here.
Stray dog when he found me. He was an animal rescuer who rescued stray dogs, treated them, then put them up for adoption. Because of that, I didn't put up a fight. He seemed like a really nice guy. From then on, my life started getting better. I now make enough money for both me and Brownie, and I love my job. And there is nothing better than saving stray dogs and giving them to a loving family that you know will treat them with love. In a way, those dogs remind me of myself and of all the horrid ways in which my stepmom used to treat me. After I settled down, I decided to get back at her and my dad. Every time I went out to find stray dogs, I'd collect rats and mice that I found. I collected nearly 100 of them, and I began training them the same way I used to train Brownie. I would simply have to show them a picture of my stepmother's ugly face and work on tricks that should get them to chase her. I'll confess that it was a lot of effort, but it was totally worth the revenge I was planning for my mother. After I went back to my old house, I put my precious rats through the old cat.
And what about your real mother who left you?
Brownie led them
no
into
revenge
the house.
on that part?
Then I snuck away from there before anyone could catch me. It wasn't long before the screams of my dad and his wife filled the air. They ran out of the house in their pajamas, and I laughed so hard. They'd finally got what they deserved after everything they'd done to me.
No, they didn't.
A week later, I passed by the house while I was on duty, and I saw my dad and his wife putting boxes into a moving company van. They must have decided to move out. The best part was that Brownie had been chasing my stepmom all week long. It might have been the hardest year of my life.
Would you show up every day?
Everybody can make their life better if they really try. And hey, at least I still have my kidney and Brownie. So guys, what did you think of my story? Please let me know in the comments
I think it's fake.
And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more awesome videos.
And it has nothing to do with melons. I mean, this is so... Doesn't she have any friends that she could spend the night with? None? I mean, first of all, your father and your stepmother and your actual mother are all scumbags. And another thing, how old are you? Because if you're actually a little girl, like, I'm guessing like, what, 15 maybe? 15, 16, 17? Like, why didn't you just call Child Protective Services? They would have just arrested your mother and father, your stepmother and actual mother and father, to give you the exact revenge they deserve for leaving a child like you out in the streets and for him choosing melons over you. Having rats chase them is not revenge. And again, the friends thing. You seriously don't have any friends. You never went to school or anything. Because if that's the case, that means You're an adult who lives at home, like maybe like 18, like at least. I'm being generous, like 18 at least. You don't have your own job, nothing to pay the bills, just no job, just living scot-free at home. There's just so many loopholes in this story. And for the guy that kidnapped you and tried to steal your kidney, why didn't you just call the police? You left that out of the story. A man drugged you, kidnapped you, tried to cut you open and do illegal surgery to get your kidney. With a house that big, I assumed you should like maybe recognize it and call the police. Hey, there's this guy who has a hospital underneath his house. He kidnapped me, drugged me, and tried to steal my kidney. Okay? This story is 100% fake. My story animated or story time, whatever you call yourself, get real stories, please. Because I promise you, there are real ones. And with the freaking mouse, really, made this look like a Disney Channel princess or a Disney Channel show. I'm sorry, this is just so stupid. And it doesn't really specify her age, which just leaves a giant loophole. Because if she's able to work and get money, the description says nothing. It's just what she said. It's the exact script of the video. That's what it is. That's it. If she's old enough to work, then I shouldn't feel that bad. But again, they keep on saying that she's a kid, like the doctor. Oh, what's a little girl like you doing out here? Yeah, I guess she could be short for her age. But come on, man. Give us specifics. Other than that, My Story Animated gave us a fake story, which had nothing to do with your stepmom's melons. Okay? It should have been my stepmom and mom. My family kicked me out of my house. That's basically what it is. My family kicked me out of my house. There's no need to involve such a clickbaity title as My Stepmom's Melons Ripped My Family Apart. Yeah, that was part of it. But the entire story is you just being homeless. And it has nothing to do with your stepmother's melons. So, alright, that's it. No more. I'm just ranting at this point. If you guys enjoyed the video, there will be a link to it in the description down below, as always. If you have any reaction requests whatsoever, feel free to leave it down in the comment section below. I'll try to get to it as fast as I can. And, yeah. My stepmom's melons ripped my family apart. Fake. Hope you guys are having a good day. Later.
Just because he'd bought me a McDonald's meal didn't mean that I now owed him my kidney in return.